All right, we're gonna ask many questions from different sources today, and we will start first to ask if there anything that Joanne needs today as a body scan before we ever start with the question.
No, she's fine.
So let's move on with the question. The first question that we got from our audience is, who are the inner earth people?
They're beings.
What?
They are beings that are arrived, and they needed to escape from the surface. They sought shelter, and they climatized better to the inner earth environment, and they have been there for a long time. And they are about to do their own shift into their own new frequency and vibration.
Are there an offshoot of the Atlanteans?
Some are, some aren't. There are so many that is in there. There's like some are and some aren't on Earth. There is so much that has happened, and so many people who have had so many experiences now. It is quite possibly that they are from the Atlantean time, but also quite possible that they aren't. There's so much history and so much experiences. They're not all from Atlantean times. They are from different times as well. So it is hard for us to be able to give you the generalization of where they've come from and their origins, because it's just too vast to answer.
Do they have a sun inside in the inner earth?
There is a energy source that helps them, and it is not unlike the sun that you may see, but it is a different construct. And so it is just another energy form that helps them. It is not viewable from the outside. The inner earth beings are very excluded from the others dimensionally and physically.
What do you mean by that?
That you cannot see them with your eyes, but they are there, and they are not physical as say you are. So therefore you will not see them. You will not be able to enter into the inner earth, your vibration. You are protected out, and they are protected in. So you will not see them, and they are at a different frequency, but they're also about to shift. Everyone is evacuating off this planet as much as they can. This is something that is very important, and it's what should be the focus is moving forward. Unfortunately, people are still wanting to have understanding and clarification of all of these events and situations that have been happening for a long time on Earth. People are starting to get wind of this information and wanting clarification, confirmation, and it's just sort of the wrong timing to develop that understanding, because there's going to be history very soon. It is not going to be the near future. It's not going to be the present situation, because everything is about to change in such a dramatic form that those questions are really going to be the history books of what was.
What was the Have you heard the question?
No.
What was what was the pillar of light over New York City?
There was an electrical event that was nothing of great significance. It just was confirmation for what people needed to see the confirmation from. They were so eager to see something physical with their 3D eyes that they manifested a light show to be able to help them see, that something was happening. But these phenomena happen all the time, and it's just confirmation for the people who need the confirmation that things are happening.
Yeah. So what is happening on the 25th of July?
The question is so broad, we need you to ask another question that's specific.
So as the is the event happening, has ever happened yet in July, or is it about to happen?
There are many events that are going to take place. Depending on who you are and where you are is going to be the more significant one for you and the people that you know. Humanity is about to do a big shift as the planet's surface expands and the structures all change. There is going to be a lot of destruction and a lot of people scared. It's going to technically make people stop worrying about the virus as everything else shifts. It's all needed. People will be taking these exit points because they are stuck and they will not be able to shift along with the earth, and they don't want to bring down the vibration of the collective. They want to be able to help humanity by taking these exit points now and not dragging the vibration of others down with them. So they will be using these exit points, these natural disasters, to be able to excuse themselves politely from the Earth's surface.
Mm-hmm. So you're telling us you cannot pinpoint what event will happen this month of July in particular?
There's going to be many. There's going to be earthquakes, volcanoes, flooding. There's going to be crimes against humanity. There is going to be everything. It's the smorgasbord of everything that's happening. It just doesn't, we can't tell you all the details of all of these events because it's just a long situation. It's a big event. These shifts are not going to be subtle. These shifts are going to be huge, and wherever your location is around the world, the closest one will be the biggest one that will impact you. You may not even be aware or notice or even hear about the other countries because humanity still seems to think that they are all separate from the islands and the locations that they live in. You are still all one. But yet you still perceive yourselves as different and special because you have different passports and because you have different languages and because you have different locations. And we say to you all that you're all one and you should be aware of the entirety of humanity, but yet you do not. And this is the situation at hand. There is too much to go on to be able to say what will be happening. Ultimately, the purposes of these situations that will be happening are people's exit points, are people's learning lessons, are people's experiences that they wanted to experience. There cannot be any more judgment on what's going to be happening. It just will be for the Earth's own growth. So depending on what people's life contracts have in store for them, is going to be what happens to them. And for the people who are left behind, this is the perspective that we want you all to see and accept. It's really none of your business how other people conduct their lives and their contracts and their life lessons, how they want to experience it. You all have free will, and your private contract is yours alone. We were hoping more people would be able to see all of this from a bigger picture, and because of the mass destruction that is just about to happen on all of your doorsteps, we assume you will start seeing life for that.
Mhm. So somebody would like to know, when will the old Earth and new Earth split from each other?
It is just on that precipice. This is on that precipice. We're just there. We're just there. It's just about to happen.
Mhm.
And there's not going to be. It is the big show that people are waiting for, and there's many little steps that go with it. But there is nothing to fear. And wherever you lead up, this is where you wanted to go because of your action and your belief systems that may actually be different from your life contract that you wish that you could have fulfilled. But because we all have given each other the permission to live with free will, we have to see and accept that.
So somebody is asking, but I don't know if that question is pertinent, so excuse me for asking it. Who are the beings who mainly are causing all this destruction?
Humanity is partly to blame because humanity should have woken up and should have understood that they were being fooled. So everyone's partly to blame for this. There are stronger beings who have their own bigger agenda, who want the control, who want them to manipulate others for their own egos and their own self-serving missions. But there is really no one that is, well, we were going to say really there is no one that's innocent, but of course that's not entirely true. There are the young, innocent, smaller children who haven't been trained into believing the false narratives that the adults, for example, are faithfully spreading to others and firmly believing them. The question was, who is doing the biggest crime against humanity? And, we know that there are different groups of beings that have got different agendas, and that is all about to finish. That is all about to close. Again, this is really for the history books now, and everyone's going to be able to see it for what it is in the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm. So somebody asked, who is the script writer of Earth? Who is this? Or is this the expression of the experiment?
So the script writer for Earth is Earth. Just like how we have free will, she also has free will to do how she pleases, and as she is doing the best she can to evolve, she's always wanted to evolve, and she will continually evolve as she grows and experiences what she needs to experience. If the person who has written that question was thinking, is there a God, and didn't want to ask directly, is there a God, and has that God written a script for humanity and existence? The answer is there is a God, there is a creator, but we're all the creators. And so it's a bigger question, and we wondered if the person who had written that was trying to debate around the questioning of, is God writing the script for this?
Yeah, they keep asking, who are the creators of the earth?
Mm-hmm. So the creators of the actual planet, they were a group of beings who had come together to be able to have a project as such. We're going to say this in very simplistic terms. They wanted to create a utopia, a beautiful haven planet full of exquisite creatures and exotic plants, and have a beautiful paradise of just luscious greeneries and some just harmoniously beautiful planet. It was going to be the prize jewel. If you could imagine creators who were fanatical about gardening and fanatical about bird lives, and all these beings came together who had their own passions, and they worked together to create something that worked and was beautiful and was just harmonious and wonderful. Unfortunately, the success of their creation did attract the tourists, who got very excited about potentially going and staying and making use of the planet for their own uses. And we say to you, remember the time you have gone on holiday yourself and you've had such a marvelous time, everything was new and exciting. You even pondered the thought, shall we move here? This feels exciting, this feels new, this feels amazing. You know, what does the real estate look like? You get so excited and enchanted with the new, you start thinking about how you can keep that feeling forever. And so this is what happened essentially to planet Earth, was that it was so successful that beings wanted to come here and experience it more than just a short little trip. And so that's how it got created, and that's also how it got, what do we say, the long overstays.
Who are the ones who overstayed themselves on Earth?
There was a lot of beings that were displaced, they wanted to experience it. They had their own issues with their own planets. They were maybe rogue fractions of different beings. Just, it was a free for all. Everyone could come and explore as they wished and kind of make their own settlements. And you know, there's a lot. It was open season for holidaying and exploring and settling in. And unfortunately, as soon as the crowds settled in, the destruction and the misuse of the planet became quite, it got overrun quite quickly, and then a lot of misuse and a lot of power. When we're talking a long time here, and the creators of the planets were not able to stop this because of just different, it wasn't well protected, and when it was protected, it was too late, and there was a lot of positive and also not so positive beings that had decided to settle here on Earth and do things on Earth, like experimenting with bodies and DNA of animals, and a whole lot of stuff to just play with.
Mm-hmm. But was there anything we could have done as humanity or individually or as a collective to stop the evil that was going on Earth?
The evil is one view of what happened. You have to see it from other sides. That question is talking about the crimes against humanity, there was already a lot of other stuff that had happened before that. It is not just a recent discovery of the crimes against humanity this century. It's been going on for a while. It's like just a continuation of I'm going to say a continuation of a lot of bad decisions that have just continually snowballed through. Nothing really that has been on earth has really been for the, in quotation marks, evil plan of some beings. They've all just had their own interests. They've all just had their own agendas, and some are stronger than others. And when you have different parties that come, different beings that come to a party, you may have the nice people that will help clean up afterwards and clean up as the party is continuing on. And then you may have some overstayers who overconsume the alcohol, overconsume the food, and then do not help with the cleanup. And right now, we would like to say we are escorting these people who will not help with the cleanup politely out of the party.
So people felt like they've been, like somebody asking a question such as, why do they keep killing us off and resetting us? Why? That person's research shows that every 200, 300 years, they do this to us and rewrite our history and give us a new narrative. Why?
Potentially that is true in some groups. They may be linking vaguely this information. This is not truly how that is going. It's not the case for the majority. We don't understand how a lot of this gossips and fairy tales and stories of what's happened on humanity, how it's kind of existed. It's been created through fear, and people are desperately trying to piece all the puzzles together, that they are so scared that they may miss a crucial piece that could be the answer to everything. And we say to people who are worried, we know people are very, very worried about what's about to happen. Please just do not worry. This is nothing bad or dangerous or scary or harmful is going to be happening to your soul. Remember, you are all multidimensional beings. This is exactly what you wanted to experience on this earth. And while changes are happening to your 3D minds and your 3D bodies, this is all okay. For most of you, this will not be the first time you have shifted into new bodies. This is all something that has happened before. There has been many deaths and rebirths and reincarnations. This is just one of many times that you have experienced a change. It's just scary because you're a little bit more aware of it, or potentially aware of what is the possibility of what's about to be occurring.
It's also could be scary because we are in the midst of a lifetime, and for a lot of people like Joanne and I, we are technically, if we had continued our life, we would have lived longer with our family and our partners that we have at this time. And so it is we could be wondering, are we going to shift with our family? Are we going to shift with our partners? For example, Sophie would like to know if she's shifting with her partner.
You all shift together. You would choose after the shift with your bigger mindsets, where your true place in the world, in the universe, will be. And why you are attached to your family unit. Right now, you're attached to your body and your life that you have right now. And we say to you, it will be much easier for you to understand this after the smaller shift, because you will then see and remember the family you have with you around you today is not the only family that you have. There are greater families, there are greater friendships out there that are waiting for you to remember them. And so when you factor on the full, all of your family, not from just this lifetime, but all the other lifetimes you have lived, and you will recall the lifetimes that you have where you are more attuned to and have a longing for and feel like they are really your fit, it will all be revealed to you. And this is what we can say to everyone who is worried about not going onto the new earth and 5D with their children and with their family and friends.
Yes.
Everyone is going exactly where they want to go. Everyone's going on a holiday, so to speak, and some people like the beach and some people like camping in the ocean or in the forest. And so just because your friend has gone camping and you've gone to the beach doesn't mean you can't connect with them. You can always connect with them. You will have better, deeper connections with them regardless of where you physically are. And so this is another thing that people are so worried about is, well, we can't all live together in some co-op. We all have free will, and when we remember who we want to be more and connect with the other existences that we have had, it may not still be with the same families. It doesn't mean you don't love each other. It doesn't mean that you haven't had an amazing experience in this crazy lifetime that we have called human experiences in this lifetime. It doesn't take away anything that you've experienced. It just changes are going to take place. And for people who are scared of change, who want to control change, all of those people are feeling very nervous right now. And it's a beautiful lesson to overcome, is allowing change to happen, knowing that everything is still going to be okay. You're not going to lose anything. You're only going to gain everything.
Yeah. It's reassuring to know this in a way. For example, you know, Joanne and Sophie met, and they are so far.
The internet is crashing and we cannot hear the...
I was asking, you know, like, for example, talking about friendships from a universal, multidimensional level, like the surprising friendship between Joanne and Sophie, who are so far away geographically from each other and never met in person. Did this happen because they knew each other before in other lifetimes, in other dimensions?
We are all one, and so you don't necessarily need to have had experiences in other lifetimes to have a profound connection. You have to be open to each other's experiences and open to having the same like-minded conversations in the current to be able to have a profound connection. Two people that love marshmallows and enjoy eating marshmallows can have a profound connection over the conversation of marshmallows and loving marshmallows. And that may be just the extent of that conversation, of that relationship, is the one simple thing about the marshmallows. We're only sharing the marshmallows because Joanne has been overindulging in the marshmallows.
Oh, those are delicious for sure. So that is also a good example for us to understand how the connection of all is one works then, right?
All is one. We are always connected. All of the water that you have collected and consumed in your lifetime has gone through everybody. We are more profoundly connected than we know, but that is about to change. We are starting to be able to have stronger connections with mind, with feeling, with intuition. We're becoming the more super beings that we were always destined to be.
Somebody wonders who put us in the 3D bodies as Atlantean were in 5D before. What happened to that?
The lessons were so profound that were needed to be learned from the misadventures. They were taken back a step because they almost were put in a timeout. They almost couldn't be trusted. We were too afraid that they would have advanced again quickly, so they needed to slow down, be lower, grounded down, and be able to focus more on, it was supposed to be about having simplistic lives and emotions and living much more simply without the magical powers, without the intuitions, without the senses. Really strip back everyone down to being bare minimal functioning beings, and we had hoped that they would have learnt all their lessons and been profoundly good at it. And unfortunately, other issues arose, more gendered agendas came through, more power, manipulation, and control came in different ways. It's all emotions, all egos, all control still, but without the powers of manipulating energy. So it has taken not the best terms. We had hoped for better, but the learning experiences have been so profoundly rich of lessons. Lessons aren't easy. They are always quite tremendous. So for the greatest soul, it's been a delight. It's been a very hard delight, and everyone's very exhausted with this density. And everyone does need a vacay, a holiday, to go into the fifth dimension. And we are wanting to tell people to start getting excited about the holidays and getting excited about the rewards that are about to dawn on you all. And we hope that the new skill sets that everyone is receiving and will be giving will be respected and honoured. And we know that there will be fun and novelty in it at first, but we will be monitoring things differently, and we all know the consequences of when power is misused. So the lessons are still there from Lemuria and from Atlantis. So it's just had to learn more lessons to be able to keep things under control, and we are looking forward to having a beautiful long time of peace and excitement and unconditional love just flowing through all. It is going to be marvelous. And we want to say that to people who missed it the first time when we said this, you're not losing anything. You're gaining so much. So when you're wanting to feel sorry, feel nervous, feel afraid, or feel scared about to happen, please release that, because there is nothing to be afraid of.
Somebody is wondering if the flash will cause a blissful feeling. Will it cure the abused children, mental health issues, and so forth?
The abused children and anyone who is suffering from mental health will have healing, will have profound healing. It will not necessarily be in an instant. We all get given the answers to how to heal ourselves, and then when you take it on board and unpack all of that information, think about this. As we get given the gift of our new skill sets, it is like Christmas morning, and you have got everything you have wished for. And as you unpack all of the gifts that is there for you waiting on the Christmas tree underneath, you will not be able to open up all your gifts, and they will be already assembled and waiting for you to enjoy thoroughly with playing. There may be some assembly required. There may be some batteries that need to be required. These are all analogies. So you will get all of these gifts, but you have to unwrap them. You have to learn how to play with them. You may have to learn how to share them. You may have to learn how to power them. You may have to learn how to use the rules for them. We hope that this was a good analogy for you to understand that while everything is profound, on the aftermath of the shift, you are still having to learn. A lot of you essentially will be getting fast bikes, and you may not know how to use the brakes. You may not be wearing any crash pads. And so we say to you, go slow with your new skill sets and enjoy them. The learning curves will be very fast, and you will all have fun.
Okay. So, where will Joanne be when the transition to 5D happens? What would be around her? Where would she be? What would be her surrounding made of? Would she still be in a house, or where would she be?
We're showing her the outside of her home. She will be near the street.
And would she still want to be living in a house, or would it still be a livable area, or would there be destruction around?
She won't notice any of the destruction. It will be fine. The needs will be different, and there's just such a different concept. The earlier information we were telling you about is the one you're going to get soon without the change of the body. The question you were asking about is with the transition of the body. And so it is different. Your needs are different when you have the crystalline body. There is no need for the sleep, there is no need for the food that you normally are consuming. There is so much that is removed that feels mandatory in the 3D. But this is why you have another step before that step. And so we want you to focus on the step that's just about to happen, and with you having to unpack all of your gifts that you're about to receive. The body the change of the body and the change of the lives is so profound. We know that people get hung up on that. And so while it all happens, the smaller details of the change of the body and the lives, when that happens in such a short amount of time, when it does happen, so much you're going to grow so much in that time, emotionally and mentally, that you'll be much more able to understand. You'll be able to understand how to use your bodies better than you have been. And it just will fit in, you'll just be getting a whole lot of more sets of puzzles that you need to understand. So
we still need to live our life until the moment it happens. So we are like, being in that knowledge makes us wonder what steps to take from now until then. For example, should Joanne plant a garden?
we don't see that it's necessary for her to plant the garden. It just won't be needed. It will not be something that she will need to do. She will not be committed to the house that she's in. It's so different on the other side of it. she can do, but we just say to her that it's just so different that, you know, she is right. She is not wanting to fix the house. She's not wanting to do some things like the chores to get her summer garden ready. For her, it just does not matter. It will be not a waste of her time, but she will not see the fruition of that hard work. And so she has free will to do as she pleases with that.
Okay, so for example, also, should Sophie rent a new office because she will lose her office at the end of August? Should she rent a new office to do the work, or should she just work online?
She can work online and she can also get an office. I mean, she has the free will to choose what she wants to do, which feels best for her. There may be a chance that her clients will feel more connected to her being face to face with the big shift that's about to happen. They may feel like they need to hold someone's hand almost and explain how big things have changed. So having an office may be suitable, but you may want to see how things unravel for you to see if that is something that you want to commit to.
Yeah, because it's a commitment, and it's a commitment that is beyond the shift. So the question was wondering whether it makes sense. You know, it's like investing in things that are beyond December. If Joanne and Sophie are set to leave into 5D in December, it seems like projecting themselves into something that pushes to 2021 is something difficult.
Yeah, and we say to you that this is the reason why you have free will. You can choose what you want to spend with the rest of your time that you have it, and there may not be any rewards with focusing on moving or changing or getting new leases. Focus on what you have this month, the next month, and the following month, but be wise to think about it. But then money doesn't matter, so you're worried about, if I sign this contract, I'm going to be committed to all this time, and I potentially may not be here for this time. And we say to you, you do not need to worry about the money. As you know, the system of money will be completely different, and you will not be earning the money that you feel like you will be, because this is where you're used to the money. The money stream is different.
Mm-hmm.
And so
yeah, the concern was about if we are all living at the same time, then there's no worry for my family, for my child and my husband, that if I commit to things that it does not burden them because they're living at the same time, right? So but I'm thinking more about, if I need to do the work and I need to help people, and my job is to help people, it should mean to really have a face-to-face for some people that feel more comfortable.
It depends on the individual clients. Some clients will want face, and some clients will just want to stay at home and hide while discussing very private matters with you. So it is really going to be on a base-to-base situation. We don't want you to spend too much of your time worrying about the location of the office. We do not want you to sacrifice the money that you could use now for something that may not be needed in the future. So you will find the right intuition and the right flow for you. But we understand it's a huge leap of faith for us to tell you, you won't be needing something for longer than 5 months, 6 months, for example. We understand that that's a huge statement, and we understand that you want to organize your lives. can plan for the garden and for the office.
Yeah, it's like Eduardo wants to plan a trip and wants to put money on the trip for next year, and from my knowledge, it doesn't make sense. But who am I to tell him? It's his choice. It's his own life, right?
Yeah, it's his free will. He's wanting to move on. He's so frustrated with the lockdown and being limited. He needs to have that hope that something new and better for him is about to happen around the corner. Ironically, it is for him, but he doesn't need to, he won't be able to understand or comprehend that. So having the trip for him in the future is his excitement. And so that's what helps him get onto the positive path and the positive vibration of the new things that will be happening. So he does need to book that holiday for him to have that excitement of something fun happening. He doesn't actually understand though what the actual fun is what the fun will be happening for him. So we understand that people need to have these things in the future booked and paid for so they can feel like this is something that they can hold on to.
Yeah.
And you can understand that that's a security thing for him to have control over his life and his future, because everyone who likes the control, to have control over their lives, have been very pushed with the lockdowns. And so this is their statement that they are going to take back their lives and control where they go and how they go and what they do and where they do. And this is something that is important for a lot of people right now who have felt like they have been restricted and they're taking back the control. It's very symbolic, and we are very proud of people who are wanting to move forward in those and those holiday plans, because regardless of where they literally go, change is happening, and we want everyone to get excited about the change that is about to happen, rather than the doom and gloom of, oh, my life is ending right now, I'm having a pity party, I can't do anything and I can't function.
Yeah, it's a good time to go to Disney World.
No. And we advise people not supporting the Disney World, Disneyland franchises. These are strong connections to crimes against humanity, and these are strong ways of how manipulation has actually been going on for generations with the sexual predation of children on the adults. And this is more going to be disclosed, and people will hear and understand this more. And this is just another tool that has been harming humanity. So we understand that you have said this as a joke, and we understand that the concept of going to Disneyland should be fun and exciting and an amazing adventure. But we also say that it has been part of one of the many problems of harming humanity and having.
I was not aware. I was not aware that the Disney franchise was involved in crimes against humanity. I just know that some people are looking desperately for things to do that they like, for the time being, because they cannot go far. And being in Florida, for us, Disney World is the closest and only attraction. There's no mountains, it's only the beach, and the beaches are not really that exciting. So that's what it was. It was a little bit of like a joke and not a joke at the same time, because the kids have been locked indoors for many, many months, and some of them would love to go and to the parks that are reopening.
Yeah. Yes. And we're part of adults also reliving their childhood of innocent days. A lot of adults are waking up to the fact that they've been lied to and manipulated to for all of their lives profoundly. And so when people and adults struggle with that, they revert back to where they feel that they were more innocent, more protected, more safe, and without the adult awarenesses and the troubles.
Yeah. So let's go back to our audience's questions. They are asking, are we used as batteries to give the 3D energy? Where does this energy go?
There are beings that are here to help with the energy, to translate the energy, to move the energy. The energy goes back into the earth. So there are light beacons, there's light beings that are here as ordinary people who have no idea what their purposes are, who are literally channeling the energy through their bodies down to the earth, and then taking the energy from the earth up and removing it off to the earth. It's the person who wrote that wanted to ask if we are being used as batteries for malicious, our energies can be gobbled up, or there is a lot of movies and a lot of stories that can encourage people to think such things. The only thing that what we put in quotation marks evil or the bad beings can feed off humanity is the negative energy, and they can only feed off that because it gives them power and great sense of accomplishment that they have manipulated and are in control of you. The battery question refers, the answer for that question is the energy. The beings are conducive to the energy, and they help the connections, giving and receiving. And also some people are very good at taking heavy energies off people and being able to help them too. So human beings are not batteries. Humans are conducts to the energy flow.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear in a lot of those questions.
Yes.
Like, for example, some people would like to understand about the matrix and artificial intelligence and how it matters. You know, how it's part of an experiment.
People want to claim that artificial intelligence is anything that's intelligent that doesn't have a human being body. So you know, there's a lot of limited belief systems there, a lot of fear, as you said. There are beings without a body that have their own intelligence. It's not artificial. You know, there are beings that have been programmed, but yeah, it has to be, we have to question the question and say, define artificial, define intelligence, and define the motives of that. As we say, there's many beings with different agendas here, none that are going to win, and everyone will be ascending, including the planet. So we understand that these are genuine questions that people are terrified that the answer could be, yes, you're all going to be gobbled up and a monster will eat you for breakfast. But the reality is it's not going to happen like that. And we don't want to make fun of jokes, but we need to laugh here because we've tried to show you in so many ways that you're loved and protected, and we're here to help you. And so the people who have been listening to such videos and then still ask these questions still have some growth. And we can guarantee that the people who ask those questions, the difference between them asking the questions and time, and we know there is no such thing as time, but you understand what we're saying. And from now, when they hear the answers, they will realize themselves that they've already grown so tremendously. But there will be new people who have listened to these questions who are grateful that someone has asked and that they learned the lessons. Growth and knowledge and wisdom is just exploding within you all. It's very powerful, and we're very excited for you all to experience that and to keep going with your own inner growth.
And there is someone who is curious to know if the moon is a spaceship.
It is not a spaceship. It is just an artificial satellite that is just there. It's got its function, but it's not a spaceship as such, but I guess depending on your terminology and what classifies as a spaceship for you, it is on space and it is a ship because it does hold things. It doesn't travel anywhere. It is just there. So we feel like we've already told the audience all negative things from their answers. We want to
There's one more. There's one more that I didn't ask, and it's about a red-looking planet in the sky. So we will see a red-looking planet in the sky when it was close. It's planet 9. They said, did you get that in some of your sessions? So we'll just put it out there. But is there something up with this red planet in the sky?
When you go outside at night time and you see the millions of planets that are out there, the ones that are visible and the ones that aren't, yeah, there's definitely something up with those planets.
So there could be many colors also, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The planets that people may see and may not see were not going to be affecting anyone. I mean, you can observe them if you want to, but the shift that you'll be going to, the majority of people will be going to a different dimension on this planet. So they're not traveling to another planet, they're just going to the evolved version of this planet. However, I'm saying that a lot of people will be using these exit points to go to their own planets and other places. So whoever has asked that question or whoever has experienced that red planet, potentially that is where they're going to go. They can see and connect with their red planet, the place that they will most likely be traveling to. Not everyone wants to stay on Earth and have their continuation of their lives as they will be in 5D. As we said, some people will choose to go back to their original planets and their original soul families and connect that way. And so we suggest that the person who asked that, which is referring to another QHHT session, is that when you're listening to these sessions, the answers that come out are very valid and true and correct for the client. And so what is true for Joanne may not be true for someone else. And so it doesn't mean that it's not true for Joanne. And we know that even Joanne has listened to other QHHT sessions and has tried to place her experience and her future experience of what that's going to be like from the answers of the other session. And it's not a one-size-fits-all each session. Yes, there's very general questions and answers that we give you all, but for some people, the red planet is where they're going to go when they ascend. So yes, it is correct. But for other people, they will stay on the Earth, in the new Earth, on the 5D vibration. And so we hope that encourages the people who are excited about the red Earth, and we hope that that answers questions for the people who want to stay on the Earth.
Yeah. And I was going to ask something about, yeah, the people, yeah, like the last one to leave. Are they the last one to shift? The ones that are in December?
We feel like there's going to be a majority of people that will be shifting with. It's almost impossible when the planet frequency changes, if you're not ready for it, you will not be able to go with. And so it is a big chunk of people that are going in December. And so the people who are left behind, there's already that shift. So essentially, we want to say that the sooner shift that's about to happen is the fraction between the people going to New Earth and the people who are not going to New Earth. And so there will be that divide. The New Earth direction is to be able to help all of the planet, humanity, all of the beings of the planet to help each other evolve and grow before the physical shift happens. And so there is those extra steps that we've been discussing about with the mindset expanding more, and then the physical catching up to that and matching the evolution in December. And so there is a lot of differences. There's so many different.
I was wondering that the purpose for us was because we needed to work a lot with the people dealing through the destructions before we leave.
The people will not be noticing the destructions as such because they will be having the bigger mindsets. So you're thinking that you will be there helping the 3D people who are still stuck on old Earth, and that's not going to be the case. You're going to be with the people who have the bigger mindsets now, the bigger intuition, and know they have to understand it all and accept it all and unpack all their gifts and assemble them all properly and to be able to move forward that way. And getting everyone ready for that shift. And there potentially is, if it's not right, if people are struggling to unpack their gifts, if people can't understand how to use the manuals, for example, that time can be pushed out even further. But that's not it's not what we want to happen, because we want more people to go with. And we heavily to make sure that everyone is opened and connected and getting to have the right conversations and the right connections with people. And if anyone is struggling to get help that they need, they really need to just seriously ask us for help, and we will give it to you the best we can. There is that saying, asking you will receive, and this is the time to be asking. This is the time. Be careful what you ask for. If you're still focused on money, for example, you're going to be limited to just the mindset of money. What are you going to do with your money? Is it going to help you with inner growth and better? Because you are not supposed to be spending this time focusing on the commercialism that we're trying to remove all of you addicted, junky, commercialistic people off of. And we say this with love, but you're in detox and withdrawal from this, and it will help with the transition easier. You all feel like you're being put into a naughty timeout zone, and some of you have been, because you would not have coped with the new gift sets that we're wanting to give you and that you are entitled to, and we want to support you with that. So there's something about it.
That would sorry, I didn't hear you.
And there's so much about it. It's hard. We don't want to generalize it, because we don't want someone to then just assume that this is their path either. Everyone needs to have their own quantum sessions to be able to know exactly, with fine details, what's going to happen to them, so then they can release their fear and worry. Don't spiritual coast off of other people's sessions. Put in the time and the effort to do your own quantum healing sessions, because as we say, it is not a one coat fits all situation, and we say this with love.
Yes. I would like to call in Dolores Cannon, if possible. Can we? So I'm calling in Dolores Cannon with great respect and great excitement to ask a specific question to meaning and coach. We are in very troubled times that makes it very difficult for us to offer in-person QHHT sessions. So there are those who think that we need to only do in-person sessions, when in many times I'm afraid it's not going to be possible for many of us. So what would you recommend we do?
As I have already stated to you before, I would like you to do the sessions any way you can. We do not have time to dilly-dally around with specifics. We just need to do it. You need to do this work. You have been trained to do this work, and you now must honour this work, regardless of whether you can see the client face-to-face or whether it can be done online. We are all protected here, and we're all here to help you. And the clients who need these works, I just feel frustrated that, common sense hasn't been used here. And yes, I said that when I was alive to not do this work online. Please remember the time and the quality of technology when I said that. It has definitely changed, and it's so frustrating that the people that should be the most astute and the most aware and using common sense and asking and knowing how to ask and knowing how to ask me, and people are still misquoting me. I did say that, it's for sure, I did say that. But now when you can ask me directly through these sessions what my advice is to you, and I will say to anyone who asks the right questions to me, this work needs to be done any way it can, and I will always endorse the good practitioners who can do this work with good heart integrity, good intuition, and pure passion for this work, to do it any way they can, because they'll have the clients asking them and needing this work.
So could you tell us right now, in fact, that the need is much greater than the risk?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that people are trying to stop humanity from awakening, the fact that people are trying to stop these sessions from happening, to have this
What?
is I can't fathom what the belief of that is. There, it's just spiritually coasting at its finest. It is just so disappointing that this work hasn't evolved with the times. There has been other people who have taken my work and have extended it on and made it very successful and very safe online. Why hasn't my QHHT done that for me? Why hasn't my QHHT done that for humanity? This work cannot be limited because of personal issues and egos.
So I'm new to QHHT, and I am not really, I have never seen in person the people that are in charge, but why is it that they fear to make the technique evolve into an possibly also online delivery?
The lack of trust of people, the lack of trust that a stranger could meet another stranger on a computer screen and have a deep, profound connection, so profound that the person can trust and go into trance. This is so easy. This gets done all the time. It's not about anything but just a lack of understanding of this work. It is so disappointing that this hasn't evolved, and that not only the practitioners missing out on, because they are so loyal to this work that they don't want to do anything that is against it, but no one seems to have even questioned it. No one has gone to the top and said, wake up, people can trust the technology has updated. This is just not Dolores's work, this is not your work, this is their work, this is the work for humanity, and whoever is blocking humanity's growth shall be speaking to me.
So we are working, when we work on the QHHT session, we're working with energy, right?
Yes.
So when Reiki is working with energy, they could work at a distance. So it would make sense then, as other practices could function remotely, QHHT should be able to work remotely as well. Am I right?
Yes. The The egos of some practitioners who believe that they are providing their clients with the energy are lacking the understanding of this work. It is the client's higher self that gives them the energy to be able to connect with. The practitioner is merely just reading the script and holding space for the questions. The practitioner isn't the magician here. The client surrendering into the process and allowing themselves to connect with their higher selves, to connect with the subconscious, and to connect with other bigger beings. We don't want you to get hung up on the word bigger. We want you to get hung up on the word of empowering. The client empowers themselves to do these sessions. It's got nothing to do with energy done online. That's complete nonsense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and there is no really fundamentally a danger or risk anymore, right?
Well, it is just like for people who still believe that there are negative entity attachments. Those people living in fear can say that the sky is falling tomorrow and we will all laugh at them because it's just fear-based drivel. You must all remember, you are multidimensional beings, you are loved, you are protected, and you are supported always. We would never, ever allow anything to happen to you. You are so protected. My script protects you beyond. And people who don't understand that don't trust this work, and they should not be doing this work if they do not understand it profoundly. You need to do your own sessions and ask these questions before putting other people's spiritual growth on hold while you are still trying to figure out what you're actually doing here.
Do you think we should be sharing this advice of yours today with the QHHT community?
The people who want to hold on to their egos, who want to keep it small, who will feel frustrated that they've been told off by Dolores. They still feel so smug and confident because they want to quote me when I was alive. But yet they don't want to ask me the real questions, the big questions, when they can contact me in sessions. It is frustrating to me, and it's frustrating to Joanne, and we both can't understand why there is this lack of growth. The frustrating thing is that they had a perfect time to connect with each other and do practicing sessions, and I had hoped that the true practitioners, the ones who should shine on, would have connected with their other practitioner friends and had exchanged sessions, profoundly grow within. This is what I said to you right at the beginning, before the lockdown, is to grow within. Quickly, quickly, quickly grow within. Quickly as you go, because we all need to get you ready, all the practitioners ready for being able to help when humanity changes. A lot of these people, a lot of these practitioners, unfortunately, have been sitting on their laurels, and it is frustrating because they were tested, they were able to have this opportunity, they were able to have all of this time to be able to go within and have some fun sessions and test it out, and then come and ask me how I would feel about them doing sessions online. And I would have been able to say to them what I have said to Joanne and many other people who already have asked me, is that it is harder. You have to connect more with the client in a different way and not just rely on body gestures or the comfort of an office. But you also can rely on the fact that they're safe and happy in their own homes too. There's pluses and minuses with everything. I don't want you to feel that doing this work online is bad. This work can be done however it can be done, as long as the client is really, truly ready to have the session and be able to surrender and be able to connect. And it doesn't have to have a practitioner in the room to do that. And with the technology these days, you can connect with people much more quicker and be able to have chit-chats beforehand and chit-chats afterwards. Don't keep carbon copying, cutting and pasting my method exactly how I did it, because those times have gone. They will never come back. And the people who are holding on to that work then are also unfortunately holding on to me. And I have also gone in that state, and I'm here. I've always been here, and I am waiting for those people who are still struggling to move on from that, to profoundly connect to me, because I've been waiting and I have a lot of conversations to have with them.
Well, I thank you for having a conversation with you, because I'm just beginner in your practice, and I have been very excited about this thing, and so it is a great honor to be able to hear from you the best guidance that I could get at this time. And it is wonderful to know that me being in Florida and Joanne being in New Zealand, we could actually hold a session without any tech. And I thank you for validating our work or for the future. And do you have a last message for humanity today?
The internet is much better than the internet that I had, and the applications that people can use today are more reliable. There is no risk with doing online sessions at all, and the people that want to hold on to the fact that there may be risks, they've got their own work to grow and overcome, and they're still afraid of the boogeyman, so to speak. So those are the people that are not truly ready to do this work, either as clients or as practitioners. In terms of the energy interference, which actually often happens with these sessions, there's nothing to be concerned of. Yes, there is some lag, some time, and there is differences here, but we are different. Your clients are different from the clients that I had. Your clients are more aware, they're more intuitive, they've got a lot more going for them, and they can cope with this. They're not my clients. My clients may not have coped with that because they were so much more deeper, and they truly did not recall any or sense anything from the sessions at all. And thanks to the shift that happened in 2012, we have grown. Humanity has grown, and I am proud of the small part that I played for humanity to be able to help with that. It makes me feel very proud of the work that I have done, but I don't want to limit this work, and it's so frustrating that there are so many people actively limiting this work. Remember, it is not the work that I created. The work created me. And with the blessing of being able to connect to the super consciousness, I've been able to get the help that I needed to help humanity. It would be rude of us, of humanity, to not tap back into that and be able to ask them how we can help humanity, just as you're asking today. You're asking the right questions, and I wish that more people took the courage and the time to do that for themselves. I say this with love. And of course, there is that ultimate statement of, but Dolores, would you do it now? Would you? Would you do a session online? And I say to people, I loved connecting with you all, each and every one of my clients who I was so honored to meet in my life. I loved meeting you in person and having that special time together, and I wouldn't trade that in for the world. If I had to do my time again, I would do it all again face to face. But I'm not alive now. I don't have the luxury of that choice. You have choices now. You're adults. You don't misuse this work. You want the best for your clients, and so often go and do it. You don't have much time to dilly-dally around, and you don't have much time to keep asking me the same questions. I say that with love.
Thank you very much, Dolores. Until next time. So,
you're welcome, my dears, and I love you and I adore you all, and you're doing such good work and you're asking the harder questions. And I can't wait to be able to catch up with you all.
thank you.